Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Number 2, can you serve faithfully now? Now this is a very interesting one, and this is something else the Holy Spirit spoke to me about. So if you go to Matthew 25 and you read the parable of the 10 talents, you'll see that the people that came back with their talents and they had made more money, so they had added 2 talents to their money, they had made 5 talents. Their master said to them something very interesting. He said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." They served faithfully. I'm asking you a question. Are you able to serve faithfully? Some of us, we can't even get to our church on time. We can't even get to second service on time. We can't even get to evening service on time. Can you serve faithfully? Very interestingly enough, as a result of being good and faithful, can you be faithful to someone else's vision? And this is hard. Can you be faithful to a vision that God gave to someone else, but can you play your part to help achieve it? Can you be the ears? Because the Bible says, especially in the New Testament, that we're all a body, so the ears will play a part, the nose will play a part, the hands will play a part. Can you be the ears or the eyes or the nose or the mouth to someone else's vision? Or do you always have to be the head? Can you be the legs or can you be the hands, or do you always have to be the head of the vision? Can you faithfully serve someone else's vision? Because the Bible said that in Matthew 25 that they were good and faithful. Can you be good even when no one is looking? As in, even if it means that you've been called to serve in the back room, in the back office, in the car park, can you serve faithfully? Can you serve in a good place? Are you a good and faithful servant? And for me in particular, it was like the Holy Spirit had called me, especially in life, to serve things that I wasn't necessarily passionate about, but I was called to serve them faithfully, as in all the way out, as in carry your vision like it's my vision and serve it like my life depends on it, because it does, let's be honest. If God has assigned you to somebody to be their destiny helper, if God has assigned you to somebody to serve their vision, please believe your blessing is in that vision. Your blessing is linked in your ability to faithfully serve that vision. So if you think, oh, God didn't tell me this isn't part of my legacy, that you can wash your hands of it, you've just washed your hands of your blessing. Some of us in church, in our small groups, in our house groups, in our fellowships, even in our families or in our friendship groups, God has put you in a position right now where you are serving someone else's vision, but you're not invested in it. You're not 100% in it because it's not yours. Please believe your life depends on it. Your blessing, your breakthrough, your testimony depends on your ability to faithfully serve that vision. Because oftentimes we do not have the beauty to dictate what we're called to serve. We are just called to serve. So God will not say, Tolu, I've got 10 things. Pick which one you want to serve and go ahead. God will just say, Tolu, you need to go serve this. Tolu, you need to go and do this. Tolu, I want you to go on that mission. You don't have the beauty to dictate who, where, what, why, how you're called to serve. Your only job as a servant of the Most High, living, true, and wonderful God is to serve. Servants serve. That's it. Number 3, can you serve even if it costs your life? Now, this is a difficult one because a lot of us here, especially in the UK or in the Western world in general, we don't really feel, and likelihood it's true, we're not really called to give up our lives. But you go and ask a pastor in India, you go and ask a pastor in China, you go and ask the pastor right now in northern Nigeria that's been ripped apart because of religious and other kind of socioeconomic and even political divides. You go and ask a pastor right now in any of those nations, and they will tell you that in order to serve the will of God, you need to be able to give up your life. I was in Chile in particular, like I mentioned earlier, I was so drained because I was pulled in every direction, constantly having to give of myself, that I almost collapsed. Like there was one time, my mama, I called her my mama, who was my Chilean mum, shout out to Mama Daisy, my mama was like, Tony, you have to go home, like you're literally gonna collapse. And I had to go home, and literally I just slept for like a day and a half, 2 days. I was drained, I was exhausted, I had to replenish. I also had to learn how to say no, but that's a different story. So at the end of the day, to serve will cost you your life. It might not cost you your life now, but at some point it will cost you your life. I'm not saying you're gonna have to die, but I've made my peace with the idea that to serve God, it will cost me my life. I'm not saying come and kill me. I'm not saying come and shoot me. I've got things to do, people to see, I've got a legacy to leave. But I'm saying that at some point in the service of God, you will die. Everyone dies, right? But I'm just saying that on a very spiritual level, it will cost you your life. The Bible says in Matthew 16, I think verse 24, don't quote me, but Matthew 16, Jesus says that whoever wants to follow him must do what? Deny themselves and take up their cross. To deny yourself and to take up your cross is essentially to die. To die to yourself and to take up the cross. Do you know what the cross is? Let me tell you something. Do you know what the cross is? The cross is death. So if you're taking up a cross, you are dying to yourself. The cross is death. You don't believe me? Ask Jesus. See, Jesus, I love Jesus to bits, but Jesus, I love reading his life in the Gospels because that's where you start to see some of the most human attributes of Jesus. And so, Jesus found himself in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. You can read it in all three of those Gospels. But Jesus found himself in the Garden of Gethsemane. When it came time for Jesus to cash in that check, he was trying to get a refund. 3 times he asked the Father, if it would be your will, please pass this cup from my lips. Like I mentioned earlier, the theme here is cup of sacrifice, the cup of the cross even. He said, pass this cup from my lips. 3 times he tried to get a refund on that check. God said, no, I write good checks, they don't bounce, don't worry, let's cash it in. And God was like, you're going to the cross. 3 times. And the difference between flesh and spirit is this, because if you go to Luke, like I said, any of the scriptures, Jesus said, if it be your will, pass this cup from my lips. That was flesh. And the point at which Jesus said, you know what, I have laid down my life for this, I am willing to die, was when he said, nevertheless. That was spirit. He said, nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. It's quite funny actually, because what he was saying is not your will, but your will, because I am you, so not your will, but your will. But my point is that Jesus, even though he had like a quick flesh moment, he said, I don't want to go to the cross, I don't want to die, I don't want to be tortured. He said, no, let me lay down my life. And he said, nevertheless. And so some of us, even when we say, God, use me, I give my life to you, break my heart for the things that break yours, I'm available to you. We say that, but we have a small print somewhere saying, God, I give you my life, but please don't take it. Please don't have to use it. And when you do that, you can't have a small print. The small print says, if it be your will, pass this cup from my lips. But when you say, you know what, Lord, no, I'm going to tear up that contract. I'm going to write you a new contract that says, you know what, Lord, have my life and use it for your will. That's your nevertheless. That says, you know what, I'm laying down my life for the things of Christ. Because it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to say, you know what, I'm willing to die for what I believe in. I'm willing to die for what I believe is true and unabatedly true. And so in doing so, Jesus, he submitted to the cross. Like Jesus himself, he submitted to what God wanted, and he submitted to the cross, and he died for me and you. Like it's in his DNA. Servanthood, as a result of that, is in our DNA. Question number 3, am I willing to serve even if I don't feel like it? And there's been many times I've been called to serve and I don't feel like it. Like even just on a really, let me keep it real with you guys. Like even at church when we've got like all these meetings and stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I just want to sit at home, watch Simpsons or whatever. But God's like, no, you're a servant, go and serve. So I'm like, yeah, let me go and serve, and I'm being on time. Serving can be very inconvenient. Let's go to Matthew 14, yeah? And Jesus has just finished performing miracles and stuff. And it turns out that in the Bible, people had been following him from city to city. He was also with his disciples. But now it was becoming late, and the disciples said to Jesus, send the people away. Jesus was like, I'm not going to send them away, they need to get food. He was like, well then send them into the village, let them buy food in the village. And Jesus was like, no, let them have what we have. Give them of what we have. And as a result of that, we have the amazing miracle, which is the feeding of the 5,000. But at that point, the disciples said, God, we've been struggling, or we've been walking all day, all night, following you around. These people have been following us. The crowd has been getting bigger. The numbers have been getting larger. Can't they just leave us alone? I've had enough of serving these people. Let them leave us alone. Let us eat in peace. Let us sleep in peace. Send them away to the village. Let them do what they need to do. Let them buy their own food. And Jesus said, no. Let them eat of what we have. And Jesus said, no, you can't serve, you can't serve on your own terms. You have to serve even if you don't feel like it. If you took up your cross, denied yourself, and you followed me, then you need to serve, even if you don't feel like it. Because let me tell you now, there'll be a time when you won't feel like serving. There's a time when Jesus didn't feel like serving, and he still served. Sometimes you have to serve, even if you don't feel like it. Because let me tell you now, true service will require a cost. Whether it's your bread and your fish, whether it's your time, your energy, and unfortunately enough, whether it's your life, true service will require a cost. And even if it just starts with your own feeling, i.e., I don't feel like serving, but I'm going to lay that down and count that as a cost to gain Christ, then you're going to have to do it. So yeah, guys, I just thought I'd share just a few of the lessons that the Holy Spirit has really kind of, impressed upon my heart to share with you guys about servanthood. And I hope that, what I said hasn't scared you away from serving, but rather it's pushed you into a more meaningful understanding of what does it mean to serve. I think one of the things that you can even just start to pray about right now is, where am I called to serve? Because we are all called to serve, don't get it twisted, whether or not at work, in your family, at church, in life, other people, missions, whatever, youth teams, youth leadership. Where am I called to serve? So I'd really just say, pray about that, guys. And let me know as well, as always, social media, emails down below in the comments about places that you find yourself serving, some of the difficulties you face with servanthood, some of your testimonies, the great things that have happened, experiences, I don't know, just share and share it. Like, I really want you to think about things, challenge the way you think about them, and transform your life. So let's do that together. Catch you on the flip side, guys. Speak soon. Bye.